I'm Eileen Shore. I work at the University of Pennsylvania in the School of Medicine. For the last, I'd have to go back and count exactly how many years, but I've been working on fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva and trying to understand the genetic and molecular cellular basis of the disease and how to use that information to develop effective treatments. I was recruited to Penn to work with Fred Kaplan and Mike Zasloff. I'm a basic scientist, but I've always been interested in genetics, inheritance, and how our genes, our internal programming, directs what cells become, what their fates are, how they function. I guess one way to think about it is I'm interested in understanding how a cell develops, I'll say, a personality. And FOP, a disease like FOP and heterotopic ossification, really captivated me as an example of cells that change their personality or change what their initial set of instructions may have been to go in a different direction. When I started working on FOP, the most important question was, is it a genetic disease? And what is the gene and the mechanism that is causing the disease?
There had been some suspicion that FOP was a genetic disease, but there was no evidence that it was. We didn't know any families, and so we had no evidence that it was passed from one generation to another.
My name is Alice Flournoy, and I live in LaGrange, Georgia. When I was growing up, my name was Alice Smith. I was diagnosed with FOP when I was probably about 3. We were in a car accident, and I ended up breaking my collarbone. It made me so I could not raise my hands above my head. And that's when we got our official diagnosis. Growing up with FOP was just everyday normal for us. My dad had FOP, my sister and my brother had FOP.
When I married Mark, I thought he had scoliosis, and he had told me he had been in a car wreck, and that's why he was shaped the way he was shaped.
I didn't realize that I was different until I was probably in middle school. It was just normal for us.
When they were little, Adam had a knot come up on his back, in his spine, and he was probably 3 months old, 6 months old. He was little. I was scared, even though I knew he had FOP. So we all loaded up and went to Florida.
One day I was sitting in my office, and my assistant Kay said, I have a former resident on the phone. He wants to talk to you. So I answered the phone, and he said, hello, Fred. I'm at the Dinnermore's Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida, and I think I have a family who has this condition that you're interested in. He said, I have 3 children here who have bone formed in their muscles, and the father also. The little boy has big lumps on his back. I said, what do the toes look like? And he said, the father and the 3 children all have short, malformed toes. They look like bunions. I said, if they're willing to stay there overnight, I'll come down tomorrow and see them. We saw the family the very next day.
The only thing I remember about when Dr. Kaplan came and visited us the first time was being in a hotel room and them taking pictures of our feet. And I don't know why that stands out so much. I guess I was a little fascinated about why do they want to take pictures of our feet.
Alice couldn't move her neck. Her younger sister, Amy, had a preschool immunization, and that locked up her knee. And the little boy, Adam, had lumps on his back, which were characteristic of FOP flare-ups for a young child. And I saw these 3 children, and I said, now I know that FOP is a genetic condition. And I hugged the father and the mother and all 3 kids. And I said, right now we don't have any answers for this, but you have given us probably the most important clue we ever had.
I'm so grateful that my family was able to be at the right place at the right time for Dr. Kaplan to come meet us.
Maybe this was God saying, hey, we're going to take care of this. It's going to take a while, but here you go, Dr. Kaplan. Here's what you need.
And we said, if there's one family, there might be others.